Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to calculate the mean by adding all of your numbers up and then dividing. But first of all, I'll just try to explain really clearly why it works. We've talked about the mean being the sort of fair share value, what you get if everybody, all of your pieces of data, the quantities were shared equally. So here we'll look at a little picture. With the first example, we're going to calculate the mean, and it's the mean of 4, 8, and 9. So I've gotten out 4 little block cubes, and 8 and 9. And what we saw in a previous video was if we just sort of rearrange these so that everybody's got the same amount, then this here is the mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that definitely works. And I want to just explain that same thing a tiny bit differently. And that will lead us more easily to our formula or our sort of way of calculating the mean that we'll maybe use the most commonly. If we have our 4, our 8, and our 9, one thing we could do is we could group them all together. And then we could spread them out, share them equally between 3 groups. So this will get us just exactly the same thing. It's just exactly the same blocks that we're rearranging. But when we think of it like this, it's easier to come up with a systematic way of calculating it when we're not using the blocks, if we're just using numbers. There. We've done that right. Should be 7 in each pile. 7 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. All right, so that's the method that we're going to use when we're just using numbers. We're going to add everything up, so we make one big pile, and then split it up again. All right, so first we're going to find the sum. We're going to add up the numbers, and then we're going to divide. And how much are we going to divide by? Well, how many numbers were there? Because that's how many people we need to share it among, or how many sort of numbers we need to share it among. All right, so that'll be the idea. So for the rest of it, I won't use the cubes, but that's what we'll be thinking about. So the mean of 4, 8, and 9, here's one way to write it down. 4 plus 8 plus 9, 12 is 21. And then we divide 21 divided by 3 because it's 3 numbers, and that's 7. So that's our mean. So that's one way you can write it down. I'm going to show you 3 ways for this example. Because there's a way that some people like to write it that is problematic, that you should not do. So I want to make sure you see that. So that's one way. Here's the sort of wrong way. 4 plus 8 plus 9 divided by 3. That way doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is that the order of operations tells us that we have to do 9 divided by 3 first. We have to do the division before the addition. Now, when you write this down, you in your head are thinking the addition first, and that's why you wrote it first. But if you write it just like this, it means something else that is not what you intended. What this would give us, if we just left it like this, 9 divided by 3 is 3, 4 plus 8 is 12 plus 3, so this would give us 15. But we know that the mean is 7. So there's an easy way to fix this. Maybe I'll just do it in red so we make a note of it. You just need to put brackets around the addition. So if you write it like that, make sure you use the brackets. And then I think you should show what you've got here. 4 plus 8 plus 9 is 21. And we need this line to be the same as this whole line. So make sure you write divided by 3 there. And then that's equal to 7. All right, and there's one other pretty reasonable way that you might like to see to write it down, which is just 4 plus 8 plus 9, and then we use this division symbol here, divided by 3 like that. When you write it like this, you can put brackets on the top. You don't need to, because this division symbol, in addition to meaning division, it's also a grouping symbol. So it means that you have to do the whole numerator before you do the division. All right? So it's as though there were brackets there. If you'd like to write them in, feel free. You absolutely can. Maybe I'll put them in dotted to show that they're optional. Okay. And that 4 plus 8, that's 21. And we're going to, again, write 21 divided by 3. And that is equal to 7. Alright, so whichever way we get 7. All of these ways are good. Just make sure if you write it like this, make sure you remember the brackets. Alright, next question. We're finding the mean of 100, 300, 300, 300, and 1,000. Again, in a previous video, we did this one with the blocks, where each block represented 100, and we sort of shared this sum of the blocks from the 1,000 out until we had equal quantities. So here, let's add it. Maybe I'll use this method for this one. So we'll have, we'll add the numbers up. 100 plus 300 plus 300 plus 300 plus 1,000. And that's equal to, this is 900 here, and another, that's 1,000 plus another 1,000, so that's 2,000. And now we divide 2,000 divided by, now just think, what are we going to divide by? And because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, we're going to divide by 5. And that gives us 400. The mean is 400. Alright. And then the last one, this is the one that in the previous video I said that wasn't practical to do with the other method. But it works great with this method. It's probably something you want to use a calculator for. So we're going to add all of these up. Maybe I'll write this one this way. So we do 26 plus 17 plus 89 plus 42 plus 74 plus 88 plus 91 plus 64 divided by 8. I'm going to count them over here to make sure I got them all. If you have a long list of numbers like this, it's really easy to make a mistake, so it's definitely worth double checking as you go, because you don't want to get to the end and realize you made a mistake where you copied the first number wrong. So as I talk here, I'm just double checking that I've got them all copied, right? Okay, and now we'll add them all up. So you'd pull out your calculator. I did this before I made the video. It comes out to 491. So the mean will be 491 divided by 8. And that is, I'll write it right here, 61 3/8, which is 61 375 thousandths. Alright, so when you're calculating the mean, you can think of the little cubes. And the sort of spreading them out to a fair share is the same. It gives us the same thing as if we group them together first and then divide them out. And that grouping and dividing leads more nicely to this sort of procedure. So what you do is you add up your numbers, and then you divide that by however many numbers there were. All right, good luck.